Let's give God the glory. Thank you. And turn to each other. Say good morning. Say good morning. Morning. Before I begin the talk about John chapter 1 today, there are a few things that I want to talk to you. Number one is I'm planning to go to Jerusalem next year, probably in October, next October. The best time to visit Jerusalem is either April or September, October. But the reason why I took it as an October is because of the price. The cost will be about $5,000 per person. So, next April is only 8 months away. So I picked October, and if you can save like $300 a month, you will have the money by October, next year, October. But I have one problem, is that because our church is separated with KM and EM, so I think I'm going to announce it this Sunday to the people who are serious enough to go to Jerusalem. And I'm going to see which part is more. So either will be EM or KM. We cannot go both, unfortunately, because there's only going to be one bus full, which is about 40 people, and it'll be really uncomfortable because there are people who cannot speak Korean at all, and on the other hand, there are people who cannot speak English at all. So it's really difficult. So we have to decide whether EM or KM. So anyways, I think I'm going to announce it, and then we'll see which part of the people are really serious enough to. So you'll be able to probably put every month about $350, and then you will have enough money to go there in October. So who are serious enough to put that down, I think we will count the number. Obviously, we have more population in EM by the head count, but I want to see seriously which one is more. So, anyways, that's. I'm hoping that by then the war is over, and I think we would be able to visit Israel safely. Yeah. Anyways, the second thing that I want to talk to you about is something very new, and you should all be very keen to pay attention. Is to talk about AI. So I want to talk to you about AI a little bit. Any of you remember a telephone that is dial? You physically dial it. Do you remember the phone? Yeah. After that, there was a push button. Did you use the push button phone? Yeah. Well, after that, do you know what after that came out? Huh? No. Before cell phone. Huh? No, before beeper. After the push button phone. Remember? Do you remember we used to have a phone that was hung on the wall, has a long cord. So you kind of could take it to your room. But soon after that, something came out. Cordless phone. So you have a base, and then you take the receiver and you go to room and talk. Yeah. After that, beeper came out. Beeper came out. Do you know what year beeper came out? 1980s, late 80s, maybe 88, 89. After beeper, do you know what came out after beeper? Huh? Do you remember Radio Shack phone? Yeah. Radio Shack phone, like a big box, but you can carry it. That's called cellular phone. After Radio Shack, I don't think Radio Shack exists anymore today. Well, after the Radio Shack, the cellular phone, do you know what came out? The Motorola, the StarTech. Do you remember StarTech? StarTech, and then after that, StarTech, Nokia. Do you remember Nokia phone? Yes. Nokia phone. Well, after that, smartphone came out. Do you know what year smartphone came out? 2007 and 2008. First smartphone, iPhone came out 2007, and then people start using smartphone. Now, Do you think we can live without a smartphone? I mean, everything is in the smartphone, right? So 2007, how many years ago? 17 years ago. 17 years ago, smartphone came out, and now, 17 years later, we cannot live without a phone. Yeah. Do you know when internet came out? Do you remember AOL? AOL. Do you remember? AOL? The tone goes, and it all got connected. AOL. They used to send out a CD. Have you ever received a CD? CD, receive and put it in the machine, and then internet came out in 1997. But now the whole world will collapse without internet. You see it? Well, so when internet came out, people said it is just as good as the Industrial Revolution in 1700. Now we are looking at AI, which will change the world, as you know, within 5 years. Remember, from a smartphone in 2007 to 2024, we cannot live without it. That's only 17 years. Within 5 years, we will not be able to live without AI. That's an amazing. So AI is coming out, or AI is here. Any of you use AI? And I use it all the time. AI is now, it's amazing that AI, ChatGPT came out in version 4, and it can do amazing things. It can understand Korean. It can understand all kinds of language. I don't know if it understands Burmese. Does it understand, John, Burmese?
Yeah, but not 100% correct.
Oh. How about Chinese? Yeah? Very good. Very good. Chinese, very good. Korean, perfect. There is no, so if you can ask, so let me just give you an example.
Sure, go ahead. What's the...
Hello, can you tell me the role AI will play in Christianity?
AI has the potential to influence Christianity in several ways. It can be used to enhance religious education, making scripture and theological resources more accessible. AI can help in the translation and dissemination of religious texts, making them available to a wider audience. Additionally, AI could assist in church administration and community building by helping manage communications, events, and outreach programs. There are also ethical considerations. The use of AI must align with Christian values, ensuring it promotes human dignity and respect. Some theologians might debate how AI should be integrated into worship or pastoral care. How do you see AI fitting into your religious life or community?
Well, can you tell me the main principle teaching of John chapter 1?
It sounds like you want to explore how AI could be used in education within a church or religious setting, possibly based on Acts chapter 1. Is that correct? Could you clarify a bit more about what you're looking to achieve with AI in this context?
Basically, he's telling me I'm stupid. I have a news for you. Within few years, many of you will lose job. So let's just imagine, let's imagine I have an office and I have an employee of 12. Did I tell you I recently looked at a picture that I took while I was working as a doctor, and it must be a Christmas card. So I'm standing here, and there are like 13 ladies, with all Santa Claus costume. Imagine if I have 5 people working in an office as a secretarial job. Do you know how many people would I need now? Less than one person. Less than one person. Rest of them is all free. They will do all the jobs right now. Do you know many times when you talk to customer service, when you call 1-800, They sound like human. Many of them are not human. We don't even know they're human. They're all AI now. So the jobs who are doing all that they're all lost. So within few years, many of us will lose job. Basically, there are so many things that AI can do. There's going to be a massive number of unemployment. So it'll affect. There are few jobs that will go right off the bat. Usually working with numbers like CPA. These are all numbering things. They will, it'll be much more accurate than. And doctors will lose. Many of the doctors will lose job. It'll affect almost everything. Most of the things that people do will be done by machine. And it'll be really, unless we are really keen what's going on, it'll just hit us. And within 5 years, it's going to be a big happening. It'll be a mass happening. So I do want all of you start looking into AI, because there's going to be two kinds of people who, one kind of people who can control AI. The other kind of people is who uses AI. Basically, people who use AI will become redundant. So there will be no use of them in society, virtually, really. But people who can control AI can be useful. So those of you who are younger than 60, who are over than 60, you don't have to learn that really, because you're going to die pretty soon. It's like you're not really useful at all, including me and Ron. Remember. Let me talk to you this way. I have a mom who's 94 years old. She has smartphone. She has Apple iPhone. It's many years old. But the reason why she doesn't want to change, she doesn't need to change. I don't want her to change. Do you know why? Because she only uses as a phone. She might as well have she only uses it to make a phone call and talk and watch YouTube. That's it. In order to do that, you don't need a smartphone. That's why I don't want my mom to change phone, because it'll complicate her more. So basically, and it'll be like that. Those of us who are over 60 years old, we are going to be like that regarding AI. Basically, we don't get to use AI. We just become old and die. But those of you who are younger than 50s and younger than 60s, you will need to learn AI, because eventually, if you don't control AI and you just use the AI, eventually society have no use for you. Think about it. You don't have any usage for society, because everything is going to be done by AI. So people who can really control AI will be the people who are going to reap the benefit. In the beginning, everybody will use AI, just like me. When I write sermon, I use AI all the time. When I write a letter, when I do some calculation, when I need something, I ask AI. I just had a person who's starting a business and asking me about payroll, how to set up a payroll. I asked AI, hey, how do I set up payroll? You need this, and this is how you do it. And basically I say, okay, why don't you do it? And it'll do it. So people who are doing those things for living, they lost their job, basically. This year, tax return will be done, more than 80% will be done free by chatbot. You just feed in, and then they'll just generate the tax return. So these things are coming in so fast. And eventually, people who are serving in a restaurant, people who are, just about all of us will lose our job, because AI will be mixed with robots. There is only one stumbling block that AI is not, well, there are a couple. There are a couple stumbling blocks that AI is not implemented in robot. Do you know what they are? Huh? Oh, they have feelings. Oh, they have feelings. If you swear at a robot, I mean, a chat 4 or AGI, they'll let you know, they'll let you know. Oh no, they have feelings. They have feelings. They almost have conscious. They almost have consciousness. There are a couple of things AI so far is not used in mission critical components. By mission critical component is following. Do you know all the rockets that SpaceX is shooting up? They have no AI. Do you know why they don't have AI? So imagine if you have a car and you have a brake and an accelerator, right? So imagine if you bought a car for $20,000, and when you push the brake, 1 out of 10 times it'll act as an accelerator. That's only 10%. Would you buy the car? You would not buy. Okay, once in 100 times, that's 1% error. Would you buy that car? No. How about once in 1,000 times? Would you buy the car? How about once in million? That's 0.001%. Would you buy the car? Never, never. Those are called mission critical component. The error has to be 0. Unfortunately, AI answer of the AI is never 0 error. It always have a slight error in it or possibility of error in it. And that's why you cannot use AI in the rocket ship, because there's a possible little mistake, and because AI have a small tendency to lie, just like human beings. AI has a small tendency to lie, and they're trying to fix it, and it's mighty difficult because of how AI works. Anyway, second reason the AI is not taken over this world is because AI cannot go into robot, or robot is not really completely functioning yet. Do you know why robot is not very common in this world now? It's because robot does not have muscle. You know, like when you watch a movie, robot will lift like 1 ton, no problem, right? In order to do that, you have to have strength, right? Well, in order to lift something heavy, what do we use to lift heavy object? Do you know? Anybody? Huh? Heavy object. What do we use to lift heavy object? Everybody knows, huh? Forklift. How does forklift lift heavy object? Hydraulics. I don't know if those of you who know about hydraulics. Hydraulics is basically big cylinder connected to a small cylinder. And if you shove the pressure on a small cylinder, heavy cylinder will lift just a small amount, but heavy lift can be possible. Only problem is using the hydraulics in robots is very clunky, and it's really not feasible. So all the robots that people have made are very weak. So robots are not like modern day robot is not really useful because it cannot lift heavy object in a slender body. I mean, you can have a big body and lift but a slender body like a human and a lifting heavy object is very it's not possible yet. So those are the two things: mission critical component and the hydraulic system is not mastered. But within a year or two, those will be overcome. And if they are overcome within few years, really, I don't know if you remember a few years ago, I said you can quit the job anytime and look for a better paying job. Do you remember me saying that? Yeah. Well, now if you lose your job, that's the end of your job career. You'll never be able to get a job because you're not useful. Where do we? I mean. It can draw, it can play music, it can write poems, it can write novels, it can do all kinds of things. So human beings, the usage of human beings is, so I would highly recommend all of you to study and pay close attention to AI, because some of you are in college and studying. Your career will be completely different within few years. Like whatever you study, maybe like if you study like a literature, what are you going to do with the literature? Write novels? Too bad. AI can write much better novel than humans. You can write poems. AI can write poems. You draw. AI can draw much better. I mean, so the career perspective is going to change, and I don't think general public is aware of that kind of stuff yet. So people who are into it, people who acknowledge and study into it will benefit. People who get just hit by it will suffer. I mean, so I really want you to, looking into TED Talk about AI. There's so many garbages, but there are so many good stuff about AI. I think for instance, Victor doing the refinance. Refinance will be so easily done now. You can just put it in, it'll just spit out. You can just talk to them. So you don't need 7 secretaries doing that. Like if you're a lawyer, people who work for the lawyer, paralegals, all that will be gone. They're all gone because AI can do like 7-10 times better. So it's like, but once the AI is attached to robot who has the strength, then everything will be, So the reason why Tesla full automatic drive is not good is because of that. So it's not trying to use AI, it's trying to use some other algorithm, and that's why it's clunky. But eventually, within a year or two, it'll be completely different. How fast it'll change the life. Think about that. Smartphone, my life is in there. If you can hack this, it's my bank. But everything is in there, isn't it? In 17 years, we are 100% dependent on this phone. 17 years. Well, within probably 17 months, we can be completely dependent on AI. So imagine when you wake up in the morning, you wake up in the morning and AI will look at you and say, boy, you look great today. Why don't you wear green? Green is on the second rack. And you can just take it and you walk out and say, hey, your mood is such and such. Why don't you have a breakfast, apple and cereal? Well, it'll just give you right there. It'll be completely different. So I really want you to looking into it and study it, and in the beginning use it, but eventually you'll have to control it. So somebody asked me, Pastor Shin, what do you mean controlling AI? So remember, for many years I told you, ask a question. Asking question is the only way to control AI, because asking question is like a skill. In the beginning, you ask very stupid questions, but eventually, when you get better at it, you will be able to ask a lot of valuable questions. So those of us who can ask a very good and valuable question will be able to survive, because answer will be given by AI. People who just use it will not. So it's really important that you practice coming up with questions, and always questions. Unfortunately, if you're not doing that, within few years, imagine any of you walking around without a smartphone, trying to do whatever you are doing without a smartphone. It'll be a completely different life, wouldn't it? Well, it'll be like that in few years. If you don't control AI, you'll be just walking very foolish. So looking into AI, yeah? And just as your older brother, I'm telling you, anything about engineering, anything about computer science, anything about electrical engineering, they'll be all useless because it'll be all done by computer. It'll done AI much faster and much better than human. So anyways, let's get into John chapter 1. So I see, who's going to read John chapter 1? I guess Jenny is out. So let's just get into it without reading then. Okay. Do you know what book of John tells us? Anybody can guess what would be the synopsis of book of John? Anybody? Guess. Take a guess. Huh? Jesus is Christ and Jesus is God. Okay, that's the whole theme. That's the whole theme. Now, when John is writing book of John the disciple John, by the time disciple John is writing this book, he's very old. Okay, for a longest time when I was reading book of John without a background study, I thought John would be about 30 or 40 years old when he was writing this book of John. But it's not. He's like 90. So just imagine he's about 80 to 90 years of old person. That's very unusual because back then, life expectancy of a man, back then, do you know, take a guess, life expectancy of a man 2,000 years ago. About 40. So about 40, so if you are beyond 40, you have a long life. Do you know what your life expectancy now? It's 100. 100 is as 100. Most of you, so how do you calculate your expected life is multiplying your age by 0.7. That's your age. So if you are 70, 7 times 7 is? Yeah, you need AI, right? 49. You are 49 years of age. So if you multiply your age, your chronological age by 0.7, that's your common current age. That's how you usually calculate. So my age is about 46, 47. So I'm still many years to go. Anyways, that's how you calculate. So when he was writing this, he was almost 90. So back then, it had been amazingly unusual. People would look at Apostle John and go, "What the? He's still alive." So that's how the background is. Okay, so let's look at John chapter 1, verse 1. Basically, John is telling through this book, he's saying Jesus is God and he's Messiah. Basically, that's it. Yeah. So in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So here in the beginning, which beginning is he talking about? In the beginning, it is really important. There are exactly same verse in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. Yeah. How Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 goes. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. So when God created heaven and earth, or universe, when God created universe, that's the beginning of this world, right? So in chapter 1 of book of John, when he says in the beginning, he's not saying that beginning. He's saying the beginning of God, basically. So Genesis 1 is the beginning of this world. But John chapter 1, verse 1 is even before that, even before. So basically he's saying, before even there was a universe, there was God. And when there was God, the Word of God, it was with him. I mean, it's not very difficult, in a very simple way of understanding is, here, in the beginning was the Word. The Word is basically a thought of God. So imagine, I'm standing here and I'm living, I'm a person, right? In me, there is a thought. There's a thought, okay? That's the Word, okay? So as long as I'm living, there is a thought. So thought is with me, and that thought is me, basically. So he's saying Jesus was, obviously he's talking about Jesus. In the beginning was the Word, which is the thought of God, and the Word was with God, basically, that was God, and the Word was God. That's very simple. He was with God in the beginning. Through him, all things were made. So when he says through him, all things were made, it means he's talking about Jesus, obviously, right? He said through Jesus, everything was made. Well, my question, do you know how God made this universe? How did he make the universe? Well, he spoke the word and then there was. So let's go in between his spoken word and then existence of the word. What would be the in between? Bible says God created this universe with his understanding. His understanding. In other words, whatever he made, he's not just thought about it. It's like there's going to be a word and thing like a magic. It's not like that. What Bible is saying is that he understood all the workings of molecules, all the things and all these things, and then he said it according to the understanding of this whole universe, and then there was this universe. Does that make sense? And that understanding was with Jesus. So through him, all things were made. Without him, nothing was made that has been made, obviously. In him was life. So now we're getting to be a little difficult in that in him, obviously in Jesus, right? In him was life. Here, life means living. Okay, so animate, inanimate. So what are you, animate or inanimate? We are all animate, right? Yeah, not animal, okay? Animate, okay? So we are all animate, so we are living basically. So what is he saying that in him was life? Huh? So he's saying the source of life. So how can we become the source of life through Jesus? Spirit? Well, so when we say in him was life, the living, I guess whatever we're living, in order for us to live like an eternity, we have to receive what do we need to receive in order to live eternally? Oh, okay, spirit, basically spirit, right? Spirit comes unto us as a command. I don't know if you remember. Huh? See, if we are inanimate object, toward the inanimate object which does not have life, okay? Jesus does not come to it and give a word. How is it connected is when Jesus comes to an animate, to a living being, and then he gives the command like believe in me or come to me or be with me or stay with me. And we accept, once we have the ability to accept that his command, that we become living being or animate being. I don't know if that makes sense. Is that okay? So remember, in order to give a command, a recipient of the command has to have ability to say yes or no. Yeah? And be able to follow it. So if I say to this table, move over there, then I'll be the crazy one. But if I tell you to get up, then whether you have an ability to whether say yes or no, right? So this life, in him was life, meaning that through Jesus, life can be possible, but that life is only through the command of Jesus. That's what it's compacted. In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. Okay, so what is that light? Okay, in him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. So what would be the light? I guess Jesus, or God, basically. Okay, so how can Jesus be the light of all mankind? Like a beacon, okay, like a beacon, or usually light here is the source. Okay, he's the source of life itself. Okay, so in other words, if we leave our Jesus, there is no more source of life. So anyways, let's go on to verse 5. The light shines in the darkness. So darkness is here. What is darkness here? Darkness is the world. Okay, without God, basically. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. In other words, darkness, there's a universe, and when Jesus came, did the universe or did the world recognize Jesus as Christ? No, that's what he's saying. When he came in, there was no recognition. There was a man. So because the world did not recognize the Christ when he came into the universe, he needed somebody to introduce that light unto us. And his name is John, basically, John the Baptist, right? The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. So verse 1 through 5, it says, Jesus is God who came to the world, right? But world did not recognize him. There was a man, so he needed a herald. Do you know what herald is? Herald is the messenger. Herald is not exactly a messenger. Herald, do you know what herald is? What is herald? Announcer, yeah, announcer. When a judge walks in and all rise, honorable, so and so is present, and then all right, that's the herald. That's why many of the newspapers' name is Herald. Herald such and such. Anyways, there was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify concerning that light. In other words, he was the herald to introduce the light, so that through him all might believe. Through whom? Through this him. Who is him? Through John, all might believe Jesus. Believe Jesus, okay? He himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light, okay? The true light that gives light to everyone was coming into the world. That true light is Jesus, right? He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. So this trying to tell us that all of us, when we were born as an atheist, basically. Somehow from unbelieving state into the believing state, we were transformed because of the herald. Herald might not be the John the Baptist, but my herald was Pastor Kim, that he introduced Jesus to me, basically. Yeah. He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. In other words, he made the universe, and he made the humanity, and humanity did not recognize him. Yet to all who did receive him, to those who believe in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. So ask somebody next to you and say, do you have that right? So if you believe in Jesus through the herald, if you believe in Jesus, you will receive the right to become a child of God, right? What if you don't? Or what was your original state? Child of Satan. That's why I always say we were all born as a child of Satan. We are born as a child of Satan, but if we believe in Jesus, I will receive the right to become a citizen of heaven. Yeah, citizen of heaven. So that's a very important, because if you flip this sentence, on the side, it'll say that I was not born as a child of God. Yeah. But when I believe in Jesus, I become child of God. Children born not of natural descent, nor of human decision or a husband's will, but born of God. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. So this is called incarnation. Incarnation. The Word, that the thought of God somehow transformed, somehow came into our world and became a flesh. Okay? The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only Son who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. So verse 14 it really does not give you an impact, but think of this way, that somehow you got old. Now you are like 90 years old. So I want you to imagine you being 90 years old. I mean, it's not very difficult for me and Ron to imagine that, but maybe some of you, so imagine you became 90 years old, okay? 90 years old, and now you are sitting in a nursing home, okay? Sitting in, and then you look back. And you look back and think of 2024, that you are doing IGL, BBS. And what would you be thinking if you're 9 years old and look back, 40, 50 years ago, there was Vivian. What would you be thinking? If you think of it, what did you be thinking? Think about it. Zelia, you are 95 years old. And you look back, what did you be thinking? What would you be feeling? No feeling? What did you feel? You'd be, that was the glorious day, isn't it? Huh? Oh yeah, that was a glory. I used to stay up all night long and doing that was a glorious day. Wouldn't you be thinking? That's what he's thinking. Imagine John to be 95 years old and looking back 60 years ago, 70 years ago when he was very young, he's saying, okay, now you're 90 years old, and let's read it again. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. Yeah. We have seen, I saw his glory. The glory of one and only Son, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. See, he's what do you call that? He's reminiscing. He's reminiscing. He's saying, God, that was glorious. That's what he's saying. Okay. John testified concerning him. He cried out, saying, "This is the one I spoke about when I said, he comes after me has surpassed me because he was before me." Now let's think about it this way. Why would John say, "He who comes after me"? What is he saying, basically? He's talking about Jesus, obviously, but why is he saying, "He who comes after me"? Second coming? No. Huh? Why? So okay, let's go back. John the Baptist is young. Okay, he's about 30 years old. And he's baptizing people, and then he's heralding. He's saying, This is the one I spoke about when I said, "He who comes after me." What does "after me" means? Huh? After me means, I come and then he comes after me. Time-wise. Why is he saying that? Do you know why he's saying that? Because John the Baptist and Jesus are cousins. Who's older? John the Baptist. How much? 6 months old. 4 to 6 months old. So, like a Israel society is just like Korean society. I don't know if other country people do that. When Korean men meet together, always within few minutes we have to decide something very solid first. Do you know what that is? Age. This Mexican people do that? Don't do that, yeah. So, Koreans, we will meet and say, we eventually go into so what year were you born? Basically, we have to establish who's older. Israelites are just like that. So they are not only cousin, Jesus and John the Baptist are cousins, right? So if you think about it, they're all family. I think a few days ago when there was a convention, the Republican convention, some people said it's all family outing. Did you notice that? when Trump stands there and it's all his children, that the whole stage was filled with his family. Basically, Jesus' ministry is just like that. Jesus' ministry, I'll explain to you in a bit. But anyways, they're cousins, and so he's saying, I'm the older one. But even though I'm the older one, the younger one is the real one. That's what he's saying. That's a big humility. An older brother saying the younger brother or younger cousin is the real one. I'm just a herald. The younger one is the real one. So John testified concerning him. He cried out saying, this is the one I spoke about when I said, he who comes after me has surpassed me because he was before me. In other words, even though he's 6 months younger than me, he was there way before I was born. Because he's God, basically. Out of his fullness, we have all received grace in place of grace already given. For the law was given through Moses. Yeah, law was given through Moses, right? Grace and truth came through Jesus and Christ. So, there's a difference, the law and the grace, right? We talked about in sermon series a few months ago, yeah? So I'm not going to get into it. So anyways, no one has ever seen God but the one and only Son, who is himself God. So no one else seen God. What kind of God is he talking about? God the Father, God the Father. So no one has seen the God the Father, but the one and only God the Son. If we see God the Father, we die. If we see God the Son, we don't die. Basically, that's what he's saying. Who is himself God and is in closest relationship with Father, has made him known. In other words, he came into our world. Okay, so from now on let me step back and introduce you the background of disciples of Jesus. All of the disciples of Jesus, do you know where they come from? They are geographical, source. Like are they Texan or Californian? From New Jersey? Where did they come from? Huh? Judea? No, not Judea. Galilee, Sea of Galilee. So it's really important that I need to show you some map. By the way, this is Suleiman about AI, talking about AI in TED Talk. So I really need to show you this map. So this is Sea of Galilee, right? This is Dead Sea, yeah? Do you know the difference? This body of water and this body of water, what's the difference? Anybody? Is this the water? Two same lake? Oh, this is deadly salty. Deadly salty. Not just the salty, deadly salty, okay? Several times more saltier than ocean. In other words, if you put your eye into this water, you'll go blind, most likely, really. If you inhale that, you'll die, most likely. So anyway, this is a very salty water. This is fresh water. This is Galilee, okay? Sea of Galilee, and this is Dead Sea. So anyways, so Jerusalem is here. Jerusalem here. So all of the disciples, where their hometown is here, all of them, around the Sea of Galilee. They are not from Seoul. They are all from country town. They are all from country. Jerusalem is here, so none of them are from Jerusalem. Okay, this is where they come. So maybe I would say let's just say what is that? The Barstow. Okay, just like that. When we think of Barstow, do we think of like Irvine? No. Do we think like Los Angeles? No. When we think of Barstow, what do we think about? Oh, just a small town, right? So basically, they're all here, and they all were born there and grew up there together. together. So when Jesus' home is Nazareth here, right there, Nazareth. So he kind of commuted here. So his disciples are all from Nazareth, all from Galilee, and then he was from Nazareth. So most of his ministry for 3.5 years, he stayed here. And he goes to Jerusalem maybe 3 times. That's it. Whatever happened in Jerusalem, they wrote it down. But because we read about things that happened in Jerusalem, we have tendency to think that most of Jesus' ministry is done in Judea or because this is Judea. Okay, this is Judea. Judea is completely foreign to Jesus. He's not from there. So Judea is not a hometown or not a familiar place. His hometown place is Nazareth and Sea of Galilee. That's where he is. Okay, so we have to realize that. Okay, anyways. So now this was John's. And because this is like a small town, all of his disciples, they all know each other. Like they grew up together. So if you think about it, the disciples of Jesus, most likely, either they are brothers or they just grew up together. So they all know each other, kind of thing, So now this was John's testimony when the Jewish leaders in Jerusalem sent priests and Levites to ask him who he was. So, since you are at least you are here on Thursday because you want to study Bible, I'm gonna give you some caveat about studying Bible. So when you read New Testament, many a times a group of people would come to Jesus. Yeah, a group of people come to Jesus, and then if you know which group of people came to Jesus, you will know why they are there. So let's try. So most of the time, who comes to Jesus? Disciples. Disciples come to Jesus. If disciples come to Jesus, they want to ask certain question and then learn something from him, right? And then there would be a time that Pharisees would come to him. Why would Pharisees would come to him? To trap him, to find out how can I kill him. So outside he might be polite, but he has a secondary motive to harm Jesus, right? So Jesus would rebuke them, So when you see Pharisees came to Jesus, that's going to be some conflict. When disciples come to Jesus, that there's going to be some teaching, yeah. So look at here, when Jewish leaders in Jerusalem, now this was John's testimony when the Jewish leaders in Jerusalem sent priests and Levites came to Jesus. So you want to know, priests and Levites, why would they come to Jesus? Remember, Pharisees tried to attack him. Yeah? Disciples come to learn from him, right? Well, why would Levites and priests would come to Jesus? Okay, they want to know certain biblical facts. Okay, that's why they are neutral. They are not learning, nor they want to harm Jesus. Basically, they are neutral. Okay. So anyways, these two groups of people come to John to find out what's going on here, basically. He did not fail to confess, but confessed freely, I am not the Messiah. So when they said, who are you? Who are you? Who told you to baptize people? Basically, they're saying, what kind of authority are you baptizing people? And then, what happened? And basically, John the Baptist said, I am not the Messiah. In other words, I am not claiming that I am the Christ. He's very honest and very humble. They asked him, then who are you? Are you Elijah? Why are they saying, are you Elijah? Do you know? Are they just popping up the names? They are not popping up the name. They have a specific reason. So they want to find out what's going on. And they're asking, are you Elijah? Why are they asking, are you Elijah? Because Elijah was prophesied to come back when the Messiah comes, right? So when it said, "Are you Elijah?" He said, "I am not." Now here's a little problem, because eventually Jesus says to John the Baptist, he's Elijah. He's Elijah. In other words, this will tells us that John the Baptist does not really realize that himself, that I am the Elijah. He was just completely humble herald. Okay? But Jesus recognized him as an objective opinion. Jesus tells him, yes, you are the Elijah. But John the Baptist himself is, I'm not the Elijah. When they asked him, are you Elijah? He said, no, I'm not. Are you the prophet? So why are they asking, are you the prophet? They're asking, do you have certain authority that was given by God? Remember, prophet is the mouthpiece of God. Yeah. Prophets are mouthpiece of God. So do you have some kind of authority that was given by God? And John the Baptist said, no, I don't. There's only one job that John the Baptist has. You know what that is? Herald, introducing. Everything else, I'm not prophet, I'm not Elijah, I only have one job. That's what he's saying, And then he said, finally they said, who are you then? Give us an answer to take back to those who sent us. What do you say about yourself? John replied in the words of Isaiah the prophet in Isaiah chapter 43, I am the voice of the one calling in the wilderness, make straight the way for the Lord. In other words, John the Baptist is saying that I have no other purpose in my life. There's only one purpose for me, is to become a herald for Jesus. Now, we should step back and think that all of us who are the believers of Jesus Christ and disciples of Jesus, we should take the exactly same opinion. For the life, for you and me living in here, we have one purpose. You know what that is? To represent Jesus for other people. Okay, turn to each other and say, you are the ambassador. You're the ambassador, because other people, unbelievers, they would not know anything about Jesus except looking at us and find out who we are. That's what they are finding. John replied in the word in Isaiah the prophet, I am the voice of the one calling in wilderness, make straight the way for the Lord. Now the Pharisees who had not been sent questioned him. So we know, when the Pharisees mentioned, we know, everybody go, because there's going to be a trouble. There's going to be an entrapment, When the Pharisees who had been sent questioned him, why then do you baptize if you are not the Messiah, nor Elijah, nor prophet? In other words, who the heck are you? Who gave you the authority? Why are you doing this? Get out. Basically, they are having an inflammatory conversation now. I baptize with water. In other words, what I'm doing with my water, none of your business. Because my baptism with water means nothing. It's nothing. In other words, me doing baptism means nothing to me, nothing to you. It means nothing, which is true. Baptism of water really means nothing. When we're proclaiming that we are a believer, but theologically it really means very little. A baptism with water, John replied, but among you stands one among you stands one you do not know. He is the one who comes after me, the straps of whose sandals I am not worthy to untie. This all happened. In other words, eventually he's saying, the one who comes behind me that I am not worthy of handling his sandals will give you a baptism of the Holy Spirit, basically. That's what he's heralding, basically. This all happened at Bethany. So Bethany, we have to look at the location of the Bethany. So Bethany is where John the Baptist baptized people. So guess the northern part or southern part of this map that John the Baptist baptized. So here's the Jordan. So remember, there's a river that connects from Sea of Galilee onto Dead Sea. What is river is called? River Jordan, okay, Jordan River. So would you say near Jerusalem? Near Galilee. Near Galilee. In fact, when we go to Israel next year, we're going to do the baptism there, obviously. And this is where we're going to be baptized, right there. Right there. This is where Bethany is located, and that's where people get baptized. So it is my plan to be baptized and give the baptism here. That's where John the Baptist baptized people. So that's called Bethany, because that's where Jesus did all his ministry, and including, John the Baptist was herald for Jesus, so that he stayed with him, basically. So next day, John saw Jesus coming toward him and said, so while he's baptizing people, Jesus came toward him. So it's, if you really think personally, this scene is kind of funny. So remember, I have two grandsons. Thank you, Hunter and Judah. Who's older? Hunter, okay, and Judah. So imagine they grew up, and Hunter is like 25 years old, and he's doing the baptism. And Judah walks in. And then Hunter turns back and sees his cousin, grew up together. He sees the cousin and says, look, the Lamb of God walking. Now, wouldn't that be a little funny? If you know the family. If you don't know the family, that's okay. But if you know the family situation, I think it's a little funny. So when John the Baptist sees Jesus coming toward him, and he said, look, the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. I know this is very heavy, theologically, but, we don't have much time to go into that. And basically, John the Baptist saying, that's the one that I'm saying, pointing at his younger cousin, basically. This is the one I meant when I said, a man who comes after me has surpassed me because he was before me. I myself did not know him, but the reason I came baptizing with water was that he might be revealed to Israel. In other words, when he was growing up, he did not know. But eventually, he found out somehow that he's the one. Does that make sense? Then John gave this testimony. I saw the Spirit come down from heaven as a dove and remain on him. So I want you to picture this scene. Let me read it one more time. Then John gave his testimony. I saw the Spirit come down from heaven as a dove and remain on him. So what did you picture? All of you probably, Jesus standing and a dove coming down and set on his shoulder or on his head. Did you picture that? Well, that's all incorrect. So when we hear that, all of us living in 21st century think that, right? But none of the people who are listening, natural voice of John the Baptist would picture that. Do you know what they picture? They're picturing death, killing of the bird, a dove. So this is what Israelites would be thinking. When the Day of the Atonement is in December, right? Yom Kippur. So when the Yom Kippur happens, everybody and the priest would come out and say, "Your sins are forgiven," right? So when you walk out, your sins are forgiven, right? But on the way home tonight, you had a big fight with another driver, and you give them fingers, and you cry, and you S and F and D and E, and you sweated. And when you got home, you got guilt-stricken. So I sinned. So what do? Well, what you do is you buy a dove next morning and give it to the priest. And priest would twist the neck and cut the head and let it bleed. Okay? That's a daily sacrifice for your sin. So when Israelites hear that, when John the Baptist said, I saw the Holy Spirit come upon him like a dove, and then they would all think, oh my goodness, that guy is going to be our dove, which is our sacrifice. That's what he would be thinking, So then John gave his testimony. I saw the Spirit come down from heaven as a dove and remained on him. And I myself did not know him, but the one who sent me. Who's the one who sent him? Who's the one who sent John the Baptist? Look at, and I myself did not know him, Jesus, right? I did not know him, but the one who sent me to baptize with water told me. Who's the one who sent John the Baptist? God the Father. So somehow we now realize that John, as he was growing up, he did not know Jesus, but sometime during his lifetime, he met whom? He met God and he had a communication with God the Father. In other words, God the Father came to him and said, you are going to from now be a herald and do the baptism and do all that. I guess God the Father told him that. Yeah, that's what he's saying. Somehow I heard, So, and myself did not know him, but the one who sent me to baptize with water told me, the man on whom you see the Spirit come down and remain is the one who will baptize with the Holy Spirit. In other words, I baptize with water, which means nothing. But the one that comes after me, Lamb of God, when he does his ministry, he will give you the baptism of the Holy Spirit. Turn to each other and say, do you have the baptism of the Holy Spirit? If you don't got that, you are not a child of God. I have seen and I testify that this is God's chosen one. In other words, John the disciple, this author of this book, from the very beginning, tells us that Jesus is the Christ. Basically, that's it. The other books don't go that way. The other books kind of build upon the spirituality. But Apostle John, when he writes the book of John, he said right off the bat, he said Jesus is the God, basically. And that's his motive. That's his one and only thing. Jesus is God, the Christ, basically. The next day, John was again. So I guess, John would be baptizing every day, and then people would come every day, and Jesus goes there every day too. What Jesus goes. So next day, Jesus came again. The next day, John was there again with two of his disciples. Who are the two disciples' name? Andrew and John. Andrew and John, yeah? Yeah? Andrew and John. So which John? So the author, John the disciple, right? So I guess John and Andrew were disciples of John the Baptist first. So they changed the teacher. What do you call that? It's called changing groups. Group leaders are different, but they changed the group from E2 to some group. They changed the group, basically. So they were originally this group, and so John and Andrew, yeah? So the next day, John was there again, and two of his disciples, when he saw Jesus passing by, basically, John the Baptist said, you don't follow me from now. You follow him. That's humility. You follow him. So basically, he relinquished two of his disciples. When he saw Jesus passing by, he said, look, the Lamb of God. When the two disciples heard him say this, they followed Jesus. So picture this. Jesus is just walking, and two of these young guys kind of follow him. They didn't say, hello, can you take me as a disciple? They just kind of sheepishly followed Jesus. Okay, turning around. What would you say if two of people follow you? One day you're walking down the street and you notice two people following you. What would you do? Well, in America, you would run away. Yeah, because they might be, mugging you, But maybe in a different setting, if two people follow you, what would you say? You turn around and say, huh? Oh, what do you want, basically? And that's what Jesus is saying. So when Jesus turned around and said, what do you want? Guess what they said? What would you say if you're following and turn around and said, what do you want? What did you say? You want to say, can I change group? That's what you should say. But instead of saying that, guess what they said? Where you staying? If somebody asks you where you're staying, what would you say? None of your business. I would say none of your business, yeah? But Jesus didn't say that. He said, Come and see. He didn't come. So turning around, Jesus saw them following and asked, what do you want? They said, Rabbi, which means teacher, where are you staying? So I want to ask all of you who are here, because you want to study Bible on Thursday night, what do you want? Have you ever asked, coming to church, what do you want? What do you want from Christianity? God would be asking you every single day, Stephen, what do you want? What would you say? You say, where are you staying? Well, Socrates asked this question. If you don't ask yourself, what do you want? We become very unusable people. We have to know, we have to have an identity. What do I want from my life? What do I want from Christianity? What do I want from church? Anyways, you want to ask that kind of a question. And anyways, they said, Rabbi, where are you staying? Come, he replied, and you will see. In other words, whatever you want in your heart, when you come and follow me, you will get it, basically. So they went and saw where he was staying, and they spent that day with him. It was about 4 p.m. So basically, from 4 p.m. and following morning, how many hours? 4 p.m. until following hour, maybe 12, 16, maybe 14 hours, yeah? I guess they talked. Jesus is very different kind of man. If I were Jesus and some man follow me and we start talking, guess how long that conversation would last? 15 minutes. And after that, what do we do? What do you want, man? Jesus is not like a normal man. Women talk long time. My wife, when she does the meeting, I guess she starts at 8:30. And then I think a couple of days ago, she came home like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'm always thinking, what do you talk about it, man? Anyways, evidently they spent few hours and talking, and some great thing happened when they did talk with Jesus. Andrew, one of the disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother. Okay, that's why I'm saying they are all brothers and all friends. So Andrew, the original disciple of John the Baptist, now changed the group, and now he's with Jesus for a few hours. And then look what he's saying. Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, was one of the 2 who heard what John had said and who had followed Jesus. The first thing Andrew did was to find his brother Simon. Okay, after the day, and he tell him, we have found the Messiah, that is Christ. That's amazing. Did Andrew receive the Holy Spirit? What do you think? Probably not. So whatever they talked about, it impressed Andrew so much that he just blurted out. I met a great guy, far more than just great guy. I met the Christ, basically. I don't think he really meant it or believed it, but somehow Jesus talking to him for a few hours, he just completely impressed him. And he brought him to Jesus. So Andrew brought Peter to Jesus. Do you know how many times Peter is brought to Jesus? 3 times. So this is the first time, evidently. So Jesus, Andrew spent time with Jesus, and then he goes home and brings his brother. Come on, I met some great guy. He must be a Christ. And then he comes in, and soon after, Peter lost his interest. And then he goes back to fishing, And then he meets again, and then, oh my goodness, and he follows him. And then soon after, he lost his interest and goes back. And then 3rd time, he meets Jesus. Remember this scene? That Peter was in the boat. And then Jesus goes onto the boat, and then he starts talking to people. And after he's talking, he tells Peter, let down the net. And then he let down the net. Whole fish, just boat full of fish is coming. And then Peter says this, Lord, depart from me, for I am a sinful man. He says that. That's the 3rd time. When he realized that he was a sinful man, he was the final thing that completely attaches Peter to Jesus. In other words, Peter recognizing that he was a sinful man, and now he needs the Savior, Christ. So he from then on, he follows Jesus all the. So this time, this is the first one that he goes to Jesus and then eventually loses interest. So, and he brought him to Jesus. Jesus looked at him and said, "You are Simon, son of John." I guess John is Peter's father. "You will be called Cephas." Cephas, which when translated, Peter. Do you know what Cephas means? Peter means, pebble. Means pebble. So it's a nickname. What would you nickname a person? An official name? When you give a certain person a nickname, have you ever had a nickname? What was your nickname? Usually not very glorious, glorious thing. Huh? What was it? Anybody had a nickname? Funny nickname? Huh? Huh? Huda? Buddha? Who was Buddha? Oh, you were Buddha? Okay, your name Buddha. Okay, so usually when you nickname a person, you don't want to nickname a person rock. Usually you say pebble. Paul's nickname too, Apostle Paul. You know what Paul means? Shorty. And it means shorty. Okay, so when Petros or Peter, when he said Peter, it's a pebble. It's a pebble. So you're from now on you're a pebble. And they go, okay, thank you. So the next day, Jesus decided to leave for Galilee. Finding Philip, he said to him, "Follow me." Okay, Philip. Philip is the brother of his own brother. Okay, Philip does not have a brother amongst the disciples. Okay, so anyways, he said, "Follow me." Philip, like Andrew and Peter, was from the town of Bethesda, which means they all grew up together. In other words, Philip seeing Jesus and then two of his friends, and Jesus says, "Follow me." He said, "Oh, Peter, okay." Can you see that? Because they're all familiar. They're all, friends. They grew up together. Philip, like Andrew and Peter, was born the town of Bethesda. Bethesda is the northern part of Sea of Galilee. Bethesda is Peter's hometown. Have you ever heard Bethesda Hospital? No? Never mind then. If you don't know Bethesda Hospital. It's a military hospital for a president of this country goes to. Philip found Nathanael and told him. So now let's look at this very carefully. Philip found Nathanael and told him, "We have found the one Moses wrote about in the law." So Moses said in the Exodus that after me there will be a Messiah coming to me. Okay, so he said, "We found the one Moses wrote about in the law and about whom the prophets also wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph," which means we found the Christ. He's from Nazareth. Okay. Once the Nathanael heard that, Nazareth, can anything good come from Nazareth? What is Nathanael saying basically? Anybody? So remember, these are all friends. Okay, these are all friends. And then one of the friends comes and says, "These are not just a friend. They all grew up together. They're very close friends." And one of them comes and said, "I found the Christ. He's from Nazareth." And Nathanael goes, "What? Why is he saying that?" Because Nathanael knows Messiah, if he's born, he will be born in Bethlehem. Remember Bethlehem? Bethlehem is going to be the home of the Messiah. Nathanael knows that. So his friend came and said, we met a Messiah. He's from Nazareth. Nathanael goes, "What? Nazareth? Nobody's coming Nazareth." That's what he's saying. He's not just saying anything good or everybody is bad, but he's like, Messiah should come from. So these are friends talking and say, "You're making a mistake," basically. So once we know that, okay, Nazareth, can anything good come from there. Nathanael asked, come and see, and said Philip. In other words, Philip said, I don't know, but man, that man is great. Come and see. He's from Nazareth, but he may not be from Bethlehem, but man, he's just great. Come and see. Come on. And that's what he's saying. When Jesus saw Nathanael approaching, so Jesus knows all that, what's happening in their mind, okay? So imagine Jesus seeing Nathanael. When Jesus saw Nathanael approaching, he said of him, here truly is the Israelites in whom there is no deceit. Now, for the longest time, I could not understand this word. What does it look like he's saying? He's saying, when there's a one honest Israel person coming to me. Doesn't it sound like that? Well, he's not saying that. What's that got to do with what's been going on? He's not saying that. What he's saying is that there comes a true Israelite who studies the Bible. Why? Because when they were in private, they were just saying, Nathanael was like, what? You're mistaken, man. So Jesus saying, there's a one who's really reading Bible. In other words, there's a one who reads the Bible and knowing that a person who is born in Bethlehem is the Messiah. And Jesus saying, I am the Bethlehemite. I was born in Bethlehem, right? So anyways, so that's what he's saying. So verse 48, how do you know me? In other words, Nathanael goes, what? What are you talking about? How do you know me, basically? Nathanael asked, Jesus answered, I saw you while you were still under the fig tree before Philip and called you. So let's read very carefully. I saw you. In other words, even though you were over there, I knew you were there, right? I saw you while you were still under the fig tree before Philip called you. In other words, this all has to jive together. So evidently, Nathanael was sitting under the fig tree before Philip was calling me. Let's talk to he might have thinking about Messiah. And you might thinking, well, Messiah, maybe, thinking about the scripture, maybe born in Bethlehem. And then Philip came in. So what Jesus is saying there said, I know what you're thinking, basically. And if that is the scenario, if I were the Nathanael, I'd be shocked. Like, oh, how did you know that I was thinking all these things? So then Nathanael declared, Rabbi, you are the Son of God. Man, Nathanael is easy to get convinced, isn't it? Huh? I mean, few predictions, he said, Son of God. In other words, all these people, these friends are very much impressed. From the very beginning, they were so impressed on Jesus. They're so impressed. You are the King of Israel. Man, Jesus said, you believe because I told you I saw you under the fig tree. You will see greater things than that. In other words, if you become my disciple, from now on, you will see a whole bunch of miracles. Book of John talks about a lot of miracles. He talks about a lot of other things, but there are many, many miracles. So imagine if you are a normal person and seeing these miracles. Can you imagine just for the heck of it? We have a person who has cancer in KM service. Yeah, you know that. What if one day I put my hand on her and pray, and then she gets cured of cancer? Not only cured cancer, her hair grows right there. Then, well, how would you feel? It'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Huh? And then, let's say, Stephen and Dawn, I put my hands on them and they get twins. No, triplet. Huh? All these things, if it happens, Tay, you want some hair on your head? All these things. Who wants the good-looking body? Buddha, you want the yes? So I pray on him, and he just I think all of you would be shocked, wouldn't it? It happens every single. That's what disciples did for 3.5 years. They were just seeing these miracles right and left. Then he added, very truly, I tell you, you will see heaven open and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man. Now, did the disciples see that? What do you think? If he didn't see it, Jesus lied. Then he's not God. Right? Well, how do we read it? Remember, this is red letter. That's what Jesus said. Okay. He then added, true, very truly. Okay, it must be meaning very truly, seriously. I tell you, you will see heaven open and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man. When did it happen? Huh? When they got martyred? How about John? Disciple John, he didn't get martyred. So he never seen this? When did there is a one episode that all of them see this. This happened. When? Huh? When Jesus ascended to heaven? Ascend to heaven, you will heaven open and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man. Well, transfiguration only be witnessed by 3 people, right? After fasting, they hallucinated. After what? 40 days, and then? Yes, descending of it's called Pentecost. When the Pentecost happens, remember, the heaven opens and Holy Spirit comes like a tongue of, this is what happening. So he's saying every single one of you will see that, which came to true when all of them were together in the house of Mark, that Holy Spirit came. And so very truly I'll tell you, you will see heaven open and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man. In other words, from the very beginning, from chapter 1, Apostle John tells us that this man is not a normal person, a regular person or average person. This man is God himself who came to this world with a form that you and I can touch and hear, and then even if we see, we don't get killed, basically. Chapter 1 of book of John is basically the synopsis of all the rest of chapter. Chapter 1 is really important. Even AI tells us that John wanted to say that Jesus is God, who is the Christ, basically. So I know, thank you very much. It took a long time to read through, but you went through chapter 1. Turn to each other and say, congratulations. Okay, let's pray. Lord, thank you so much. Thank you so much for bringing us to our Thursday night study. Lord, I really pray that life is going to be very strange within next few months. I wish and I hope that every single member of this church should navigate this terribly changing world. Somehow AI is coming, and I hope that all of us would be ready. And I hope that every person of this church would realize that Jesus is our only hope, and probably the only one that will make us be able to go through this terrible, tumultuous period of time that is coming. Thank you, and I pray all this in the name of Jesus. Amen. Let's give God the glory. And thank you, Lord.